Welcome to the first episode of The Last Memory. Memories are supposed to define us. They tell us who we are, what we've endured, and why we keep moving forward. But what happens when memories can be rewritten? What happens when the story of who you are can be edited like words on a page? Maya never asked for this gift, and yet it was hers. A power to alter reality, not through strength, but through memory itself. The dim glow of a single candle lit her cluttered room. Maya sat at her desk, pen trembling in her hand as her journal lay open before her. Pages filled with names, moments, fragments she couldn't always recognize. Were they her memories? Or someone else's? The shadows along the walls seemed alive, stretching long fingers toward her as she scribbled. Sometimes she swore they whispered. Voices of the lives she had touched, of the realities she had bent. "If I could erase the worst moments," she murmured, "wouldn't that be a kindness?" But the answer never came. Only silence, only shadows. Her mind raced back to the first time she'd used her gift. The raw shock of it, the trembling exhilaration of knowing she could change everything. And the horror too when she realized how easily truth and illusion blurred. Every time she reached into a memory, she felt herself losing pieces of her own. A laugh that no longer felt like hers. A scar she couldn't remember getting. A dream that belonged to someone else. The shadows in the corners of her room rippled, shifting into fleeting visions of people she had altered. Faces she could not fully recall. Their eyes accused her in silence, their blurred features demanding answers. Maya closed her eyes, her chest tight with dread. She couldn't tell if they were real or just fragments of her unraveling mind. With a sharp breath, Maya snapped her journal shut. Her hand shook, but her eyes burned with new resolve. "This is my story," she whispered, "and I will not be a prisoner of my own gift." She stood, the candlelight casting long, defiant shadows across the walls. Whatever was waiting for her in the darkness, answers, dangers, or both, she would face it. Because the greatest fear wasn't losing her memories. It was never discovering the truth of who she really was. And as Maya stepped toward the shadows, they seemed to shift back, making way for her. For the first time, she didn't feel hunted. She felt challenged. The journey had begun. Now let's continue our story. Maya moved through the shadowy house, each creaking floorboard echoing her unease. She had lived here all her life, or so she thought. Yet lately the house had become a maze of shifting rooms and unfamiliar hallways. It was as if the very structure mirrored the jumble in her mind. A floorboard groaned under her weight, and Maya froze. In the sudden silence, she could have sworn she heard a whisper, a name. Was it real, or a figment of her overactive imagination? The flickering candle flame cast dancing shadows on the wall, twisting familiar shapes into something grotesque. Each step took her deeper into the labyrinth of her own mind, where memories swirled like smoke, and the truth hid in plain sight. As she turned a corner, a sudden gust of wind slammed a door shut somewhere behind her, amplifying the oppressive silence. The air grew thick, heavy with secrets. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, and Maya's resolve began to waver. Was she truly alone in this house of shifting shadows? Or were there things in the darkness watching her every move, waiting to pounce? The candle sputtered, threatening to extinguish, and panic tightened its grip around Maya's heart. Was she losing her mind? Her grip on reality? In the depths of this suffocating darkness, the line between sanity and madness blurred. With a desperate sob, she fumbled for the door, her fingers clawing at the unseen knob. But which way was up? Which way led out of this suffocating darkness? In the heart of the shadowed house, Maya stumbled, her senses reeling. She was trapped in a suffocating darkness, her own memories, her own mind. The whispers grew to a cacophony, and she could feel eyes boring into her from the darkness. Then, as suddenly as it began, the chaos receded, leaving an oppressive silence in its wake. Gasping for breath, Maya slowly raised her head. Through blurry vision, she saw the faintest glimmer of light ahead. Hope surged through her, propelling her forward. With newfound determination, she pushed on, each step echoing her resilience. As she drew closer to the light, the whispering grew fainter, replaced by the soft sound of her own breathing. Then, as she rounded a corner, the light burst forth, revealing a sight that made her gasp. Standing in front of her was a mirror, its surface shimmering with an otherworldly glow. But it wasn't the mirror that stole her breath away. Gazing back at her was a woman whose eyes held the secrets of 1,000 memories. A woman who looked at her and whispered, "It's time to remember." As Maya stared into the depths of those knowing eyes, a profound realization washed over her. The memories she'd forgotten, the fragments scattered like shards of glass within her mind, they were more than just echoes of the past. They were the threads that wove together the tapestry of her existence. But the revelation brought with it a chilling understanding. If she had the power to manipulate her own memories, then someone, somewhere, had deliberately obscured her past. Someone had woven lies into the fabric of her life, leaving her to navigate a maze of confusion. With a resolute nod, Maya reached out, her fingers tracing the cool surface of the mirror. In that moment, she knew she wasn't merely confronting fragmented memories. She was facing a deliberate erasure, an intentional obscuring of her past. As she delved deeper into the murky depths of her mind, she sensed a sinister presence lurking just beyond her perception, manipulating the very essence of her being. But Maya was far from a passive victim. With each passing moment, she felt a surge of defiance rise within her. She would not be a pawn in someone else's game. With a newfound sense of purpose, she turned away from the mirror, her gaze fixed on the shadowy recesses of her mind. The battle for her past, for her very identity, was far from over. And so the journey continues. What other secrets lie dormant within Maya's mind? Who is orchestrating this intricate game of manipulation, and what are their motives? Join us next time as we delve deeper into the enigmatic world of the last memory. Don't forget to stay tuned for new episodes. See you next time.